spew and belch the beliefs of people that you will never meet. Anyway, hey, did you know that this is a little bit surprising? I actually had to look it up. I thought it was 10 times larger than this, but Solomon's temple, Jeffrey, was 90 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 45 feet high. I thought the thing was much bigger than that. And then, what do you know about the temple or Solomon? What have you come across?
Well, probably not much more than what some of the listeners know. I just think it's interesting that, one of the major Bible guys is, a major Freemason, one of the originators. That means one of two things. Well, I mean, it could mean other things, but it could mean that the Bible is just incredibly tampered with beyond belief. And, then we've got, very evil people that are being called the great ones in the Bible. Or it could mean, more interestingly, and I tend to go with this view, I think, or it could mean that actually Freemasonry is not that big of a deal, and it's almost a red herring for us to all to think, the Freemasons, and really, they don't really have much to do with anything. They're more just puppets of the real Illuminati Nephilim behind the Freemasons. That's the view I tend to hold.
Yeah, me too. That's interesting. I believe that it's kind of like chasing your own tail. They get you to spend money on each step that you progress, but in the end, they just try to get you all twisted up and to follow, the satanic system that they set up there. But it's really just a money-making scheme. Sure, they hint at you're gonna learn this and all that, and it's just clever enough, as all cults are, to keep people coming back. But I don't think there's a lot there. I think, and then there's this other thing I brought up. I got a bunch of dirty emails one time when I did a show telling everybody that just because somebody in the 1800s painted a picture of George Washington with a Masonic apron doesn't really mean that he was a Mason. That somebody could actually take a picture of me and Photoshop a Masonic apron on me, and then I guess that would make me a Mason. The other point I made is, what if Freemasonry, and this is just something I toss out once in a while. What if it originally was not a bad thing? Maybe, and that just like Christianity or Judaism or anything else, over time it gets corrupted and hijacked by people that are obsessed with power and money.
Absolutely. This is exactly what I think, too. I mean, people, if you've got a show, now, the Freemasons are an issue, in my opinion. I mean, when you've got people this powerful that are Freemasons, then it's an issue, and I cover that in my film, The Illuminati or the Nephilim. But the point is when you get to the high levels, is it still Freemasonry? And I don't think it is. Mm-hmm. Because Freemasonry, I think, is just some club where they learn all this, stuff, interesting stuff and everything. But it's well known that it's hijacked, and the top-level Freemasons back in the days of the founders, and shortly after, said that the whole thing's being hijacked and corrupted. Now, people will say, they're part of it, and they were just trying to give us a red herring or something. I don't know. When I read the writings of Thomas Jefferson and some of the other founders, I've got questions about Ben Franklin, however, but when I read Thomas Jefferson and Samuel Adams and stuff, I know that those people were not, part of the Illuminati or high-level agents of the New World Order version back then. And they were just tricked like all the rest of us, I think.
Yes. Yeah, they just joined, the good old boys club, probably enticed into doing it, and it gave the movement credibility because the great Thomas Jefferson, came to a meeting or two. That's interesting that you have come to the same conclusion, just speculating about all this stuff. I think that most most Masons that we pass on the street every day in our local community are low level. They have no clue what that whole thing is about, but it's kind of like a good old boys club. They think that it's going to help them get a promotion or get an easier path into the zoning commission or whatever.
Yeah. Well, a good job as a guard at the prison, for example. I mean, when I worked at the prison in Westville, Indiana, I mean, half the guards there were Freemasons. It seemed like, I mean, all their trucks would have the Mason thing on it and stuff. I mean, people will say, I mean, this idea that the Freemasons are the problem is so widespread, though, John. People will probably accuse us of trying to cover for them, so now we're questionable. Yeah. But what I would say in response to that is you always have to follow the evidence. I've been thinking lately, I'm just going to get more and more uptight about that. Follow what you can see with your eyes and ignore other things, because if not, then we start chasing all this crazy stuff. And I mean, if the History Channel has a show, like a 3-hour show on the Freemasons about how they're so, they've got so much power and they rule the world. Yeah. I mean, come on, we're being baited right into it. And I think it was the National Geographic Channel. Get this, John, I don't know if you knew this. The National Geographic Channel had a show on the Masons, an hour show, and they said it like in the 6 minutes in. They said that Freemasonry is tied to Satanism. Okay, if the National Geographic Channel is doing that, there's no question. I mean, you know who owns that? It's Rupert Murdoch. I mean, there's no question that we're just trying to be baited along to think that they're it, while the real enemies of humanity go unnoticed. That would be my guess right there. I'm not sure.
Yes, and now I understand where you are coming from when you say they are trying to bait us, patriots, into attacking the lower level base of the pyramid. Yeah.
And the Freemasons are it. They want us to attack them.
Yeah.
Or similar groups. Bilderberg and stuff. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all for a big party of sacrifice.
Yeah, they don't care who spills the blood or whose blood is spilled, as long as there's red rivers running. Mm-hmm. Wow. When we come back, I would like to kind of go down the path of blood, and because that was important not only now to the Illuminati, but also Judaism. So we'll be right back to talk about bloodlines, folks. Hey folks, our board operator is ill this evening, and we have a stand-in, so we're not taking calls tonight, but you can certainly instant message me at bigjohnlipscomb@yahoo.com. I'd like to get your thoughts. Yeah, Joel here has something that reminds me of something. He says Ben Franklin was a freak show.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, did you see where they dug up Ben Franklin's basement and there was a bunch of skeletons in there?
Yeah, I did hear something about that. It does make you wonder the whole thing. I'm not saying I have absolute proof or something that the founders weren't, just agents and so forth. It is a little tough to believe that somebody at that high level with such a big job assigned to them, running the nation, this whole new branch of the New World Order here in North America, is that they're just random people or something. That is tough for me to believe too. But I'm just saying, just going by the best evidence I can, it seems that a lot of them were definitely not. But they were just tricked like everybody else is, and a lot of politicians are in our Congress now and so forth. All those fools with their lobbyists and everything, but some of them do seem. It does seem Ben Franklin was. I mean, he's part of the Hellfire Club in France and everything. A very strange character. But you were talking about the skeletons. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I tell
that
you,
doesn't look good.
it did. No, it doesn't look good. And you know what? I wasn't one bit surprised. I mean, not that I predicted it or anything.